Thanks to all the witnesses for being here. Ms. Cook, I want to say thank you especially to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for telling your story. And I'm sorry for what you and your family have had to endure. And it's powerful to have you here today. Thank you very much. I want to talk about some of these policies that have gotten to where we are today. Mr. Jackson, if I could just start with you. You were deputy director in the Biden White House for gun violence and a special assistant to the president. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You're also affiliated with the Community Justice Action Fund. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm also a survivor of gun violence.
You were their executive director. When was that, the Community Justice Action Fund?
2021 to 2023.
And you're affiliated with them now?
Yes, as executive advisor.
Okay. The Community Justice Action Fund do you disclose your donors?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to America Patriots, the channel where common sense is still alive, coffee is still strong, and accountability is still, well, what we fight for every day. Before we jump in, smash that subscribe button like you're trying to get Congress to actually read their own reports. Go ahead and hit like too, because every time you do, an elected official somewhere suddenly remembers what doing their job means. And drop a comment, because we love hearing from fellow Americans who still believe in law, order, and a bit of humor, while we watch these hearings go off the rails like a Walmart shopping cart with one bad wheel. All right, let's talk about this video.
Yes.
All of the donors are public?
Yes.
You're funded by the Tides Advocacy Group, among others?
They're a fiscal sponsor.
This is, right.
They handle our HR.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is a George Soros-funded group?
No.
He's one of the donors?
No.
He's a donor to the Tides Advocacy Group?
Yeah, that's our fiscal sponsor. So they handle our HR, our back office, our operations.
Great. Okay. Great. So in other words, I mean,
we're one of 300 organizations.
Right, that they run. You are a subset of them.
Pay them to be a fiscal sponsor.
Well, you are a subset of that organization, which he helps to fund, right? Okay. All right. Just wanted to get a level set here. So I want to ask you about some of the policies that you've advocated, because they're exactly what we see implemented in these blue cities, like defunding the police.
No.
Oh, indeed.
We advocate for.
Wait, I haven't asked a question yet. We'll get to. I've got a lot of questions. Believe me, and I'll give you time. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about this report that you issued when you were executive director, a policymaker's playbook. And I'll ask to enter it into the record, Mr. Chairman.
Great.
Without objection.
Thank you. In this report, you advocate, and I quote now, defunding the police because the long-term goal is fundamentally to reimagine how the state serves its citizens in the project of public safety. You go on to say police departments traumatize residents through a destructive cycle of racist over-policing, and the answer is not to add any more money to police budgets. Talk to me about, why is it that denying policing to the most vulnerable communities is a solution? I know that's what the blue cities are doing, but why is that a good idea?
Well, look, I in no way stand with defunding law enforcement.
That's what your report says.
Sheriff Mike Sheridan, who taught me how to drive when I was 16 years old.
Wait. Your report, when you were executive director, said you wanted to defund the police. Do you renounce this report? Mr. Jackson, do you renounce the report that you authored as executive director? Here it is.
Get a second senator to bring up an op-ed
This is an op-ed. This is your report, a policymaker's playbook to reduce gun violence without policing communities.
Okay.
Community Justice Action Fund, copyright 2023, when you were executive director. Now you say you don't know anything about it. Now you say that you haven't heard of it, just like the Democrats who all of a sudden say, oh, we're all for the police. They've been advocating defunding them for years.
Okay, well, you can look at documents or you can look at results.
My question is, do you renounce this report now? You say you no longer agree with this.
And my answer is that I led the efforts to invest $42 billion in law enforcement.
You've advocated defunding the police as executive director of an organization that you still lead and are affiliated with.
Never see me advocate for that directly. What you see me advocate for
is
a comprehensive approach to reducing violence.
Right. The comprehensive approach is defunding the police, which is what this says
the entire time.
This is so typical of what the Democrats do now. After your policies have transparently failed and led to the deaths of millions of Americans, now you say you've never heard of defunding the police. Your own report recommends it on page after page after page. Let me ask about something else you say. Here's what you say we ought to invest in. Instead of funding the police, here's what we ought to invest in. We need to invest in programs that acknowledge the need for safe space initiatives led by lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender nonconforming people. What's two-spirit?
Well, look, I don't know exactly. You guys are pulling some interesting quotes.
This is from your report.
If you look at the report, the focus is on investing in violence intervention, outreach workers.
What is you say?
Services.
You say that you shouldn't invest in the police, but we ought to invest in two-spirit community programs that acknowledge two-spirit individuals.
We are not going to discriminate.
What is that?
We're not going to discriminate against any nonprofit that
what
wants
is
to help us
two-spirit?
prevent violence in
What
our
is
community.
two-spirit? You say don't fund the police, but do fund programs that create safe spaces for two-spirit people. What is? I just want to know. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is.
Well, I honestly, I'm not completely aware of the language or the
You wrote
spirit
the
of how that was
report?
written. But what I'm telling you is that what is
a two-spirit individual? I mean, really, this is your policymaker's playbook. You are the witness called by the Democrats on this committee, so I assume you reflect their views.
Well,
you don't want to fund the police. You want to fund safe spaces for two-spirit individuals. What is a two-spirit person?
I feel like I'm looking at a two-faced individual because you talk about reducing
Oh, no, sir.
violence.
You're looking at somebody who's
You're also
reading you your
speaking out
own
against
words, and I'd like to hear an
violence
answer.
programs.
Here's the answer. The answer is you don't have any solutions. You want to invest in gobbledygook and take away money from police officers who actually keep our communities safe, and when you're called on the record, you deny it. It's all there in black and white, and your record is there in black and white, and it's a disgrace.
We reduced homicides by 31%, and as someone who's been shot and nearly killed, I take offense that you would think that the last 13
that you
years
won't answer my
we're not
questions,
focused on
that you
reducing
deny your
violence.
own words, and that you are leading this committee astray. And frankly, sir, your policies are absurd. They're absurd.
I don't think we're getting any place, so let's,
So we got Senator Josh Hawley, a man who shows up to work with a stack of receipts thick enough to stop a .50 cal round. And he's questioning Greg Jackson, former deputy director for gun violence policy in the Biden White House. And let me tell you, this hearing, grab the popcorn. First off, Hawley starts out polite, respectful, and then, like any patriot who's read the homework, he pulls out this policy playbook that Jackson's organization published. Now, this playbook apparently suggests defunding the police. And suddenly Greg Jackson reacts like, who? Me? Never heard of her. Folks, it's your report. Your organization's name is right there on the cover. It's like trying to convince your mom you didn't eat the cookies while you're still chewing one. Hawley didn't even have to be aggressive. He just had to read the thing out loud. Then it gets even better. Hawley points to a part of the report that recommends investing in safe space initiatives for lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender non-conforming people. Now look, I don't care what consenting adults call themselves, identify as, or do with their time. That's America. But when the conversation is supposed to be about serious nationwide gun violence policy, Hawley's over here like, what is two-spirit? And Greg Jackson basically says, well, I don't really know. Sir, it's in your own report. If I publish a cookbook, I should probably know what's in a lasagna. Meanwhile, Hawley's face is doing that polite but incredibly confused squint that says, are we all seriously pretending this is normal right now? And then, my favorite part, Greg starts insisting that he's actually been funding the police all along. And Hawley, bless him, is basically like, buddy, your own report says otherwise. And I can read. And I brought it with me. It's like watching someone try to tell a cop that the 50-inch TV in their backseat belongs to a friend. Now, Greg does bring up that he's a survivor of gun violence, and that's something everyone should respect. But that doesn't mean you get free pass to deny what's in writing, especially when you're testifying in front of Congress, and the documents literally have your organization's name printed in bold on the front. What kills me is the dance, the verbal gymnastics. That wasn't me even though it was published when I was in charge and has my fingerprints on it. If this hearing had gone on 10 more minutes, Greg might have declared that he's never even heard of the Community Justice Action Fund at all, and that he just wandered into the room looking for free coffee. And when Hawley calls out the contradictions, Greg gets back with, I take offense. Sir, the American people take offense when leaders pretend they didn't write what they wrote. And right at the end, you can hear the moment the chairman realizes this is going nowhere and tries to cut for commercial. If Congress had commercials. Look, folks, here's the bottom line. You can disagree about policy. You can debate funding priorities. But you can't debate what your own report says. If you publish it, you own it. That's called responsibility. That's called leadership. Senator Hawley showed up prepared. He showed up with facts. And he showed up refusing to let political amnesia rewrite reality. That's why patriots like us give the man credit. He doesn't back down, and he doesn't get bullied into pretending the sky is green when it's clearly blue. So if you want straight talk without the sugar coating, receipts, accountability, and maybe a sprinkle of humor while we watch Washington do its best impression of a circus tent, subscribe to America Patriots right now. Hit that like button. Drop a comment about what you think Two-Spirit means, because apparently even the authors of the report don't know. All right, Patriots, stay sharp, stay loud, and stay American. See you in the next one. United States.